Hello and welcome back. I've got this KitchenAid heavy-duty mixer. Model number is RRK5A. I believe the K5A is the important part in that. I've been doing a little research on it. Had it for about 20 years, give or take here. And it started making some noise a few years ago. It's been sitting on the shelf, kind of been moved around and beat up. There's the noise. But I'd like to fix it today. So, let's see if we can get a good shot of, you see everything's moving in there. Thinking I just got something that's out of whack a little bit. Maybe a gear that needs to be replaced. Obviously we've got some oil that's been leaking out of it, grease. I think it's all the gears are packed with grease. I've actually cleaned some of it up already, so it's was a lot worse. Anyway, it's time probably for some fresh grease anyway, and take you along on my little journey while I try and get this guy going again 100%. Okay, I'm going to start by taking out this one Phillips screw back here. This should peel off, and then there's little hooks down there holding the bottom in. Do that real quick. And we'll find that screw later. There's the cover. And yeah, I'm not sure what happened to that screw. So anyway, oh, there it is right there. And yeah, so this is the electronics behind it. I'm also going to just take this band off while I'm back here. 2 screws, one on either side. And I think it's probably going to reveal a lot more mess. Looks like we got flour and stuff back here as well. Most screws are a little bit different than the other one, so kind of keep that in mind. We got one of one kind. You can see all the grease and whatnot. Let's see if we get a good shot of that. Yeah, all that and all along here. It's been leaking out, so I'll have to get all that cleaned up. Alright, now my understanding is next we gotta get this ring off and this pin out. So let's see what we can do about that. Oh, that thing is dirty. Oh yeah. I think it's the grease holding that sucker on as much as anything. Nasty. Yeah, we'll get that cleaned up as part of this process. And that pin, let's see what we got for a punch here. Hopefully that'll do it. Yeah, there's the pin. And we'll set that aside. And then what I believe, this should be free to come out. Try to do my best to keep things in shot here for you guys. Okay. Well, that guy's off. Greased up. That gear looks perfect. Just needs some fresh grease on it. Let's see what else we gotta do here. All right. Now my understanding is it could be taken apart this way. Some of these tip back, or I can maybe tip it back on its edge. Ultimately, the easiest way is to get this guy off. So we'll get these 4 out. Might have to get a bigger screwdriver. Oh, no. Doing okay. Make sure we still got chin shot there. Yeah. Okay, the last one. There's a slight chance this thing could just take a nosedive, so we're just gonna give it a little support here. Nothing will be holding it on that base anymore. Okay, lift that off. Oh, beauty. Base and all that's dirty too, so. All right. Next step, this will be a little harder to show you since I'm filming myself, but I'll show you and then then we can talk about it. Next, we got to get these screws out, and these screws out. My understanding is these two back here are the longest. These two will be full screws, and these will have like a smooth shaft for part of them. So when you're putting them back together, of course, match them up. We'll investigate what that is now, and that will allow us to separate the top and the bottom halves. And then we can see what we got going on under there. See if we can get this guy working again without making weird. Okay. So this back here, what I did is I just pulled this out of there. It was holding on. Looks like it's ready to come apart though. Otherwise, oh, lost our beauty light there. Hopefully this is still good enough footage. Let's see what we can do. Alright, well there's our first look at the gears. Down where you guys can see it a little better. Take a look inside here. Oh, I need more light. We gotta figure out that light, so hang on a second. I want to figure out my light, and I will be right back. Alright, yeah, we're back. I replaced the power supply to our light there. Let's just take a look, see if we can figure out what causes this to make noise. So inside here, other than a whole lot of grease and nastiness, a whole lot of grease. Those all, I don't know if you can see in there or not. Gear looks pretty good. Worm gear there looks pretty good off the motor. Oops, sorry. Whole ton of grease in there. So it's probably something to do on this here. So that looks good as far as I can tell. Turn this guy around, take a better look. Oh, I think I just spotted where the problem is. Anyway, this looks good. But there, right there, is a little plastic gear. Why would they put a plastic gear with all these metal gears? That looks roached. So, it's still spinning, but definitely roached. That sucks. So, and then all this grease, it's time to replace it. 20 years old. You'd think it'd be okay, but nah, we'll just get it all cleaned up. I'm not gonna subject you to that. I'll scrape this off into the trash. Probably hit it with some brake clean to get it cleaned up, and to see about ordering that part, and then we'll bring you back when I got the parts in, and we'll put her back together and see if we fix the problem. Yeah, thank you much for watching. This is a simple fix. Knew it had to be a gear in here, and same thing likely would have happened if these, was making noise, but it was just something wasn't spinning. Typically, broken gear is probably going to be your biggest problem in here. Like I said, I wish I knew what caused that to roach, but other than I'm pretty sure it's plastic. Too bad they don't make things like they used to. All right. Okay, so I just kind of skipped over cleaning this up and getting it out, but there is our damaged gear that we're going to have to replace. I got that in order, but to get it out, we've got a pin here we're going to have to get out of there. We're going to punch that out. So I thought I'd show you myself doing that quick. Do that so that make sure that we're not going into that back part there. Alright, let's give this a shot quick. Sorry, I might not have the best angle for this. I will try and show you as much as I can. But anyway. I think we moved it. Yep. A little bit. Get a little narrower punch. Be right back. Let's try these little pliers first, see if we can get that out of there. There we go. There's our little pin. Sorry if this went off camera too much. Definitely don't want to lose that. Put that with our other parts over here. And my understanding is that this guy just pulls out. We'll have to get that line back up to put it back together. We'll get that cleaned up. It just slides out of there. Our gear comes out. Save these little washers either side of it. And yeah, once the new gear's in, we'll put this sucker back together and show you what it looks like. But yeah, screwed up gear. Easy enough. 13 bucks on Amazon. You got 2 of these. I can maybe put the link in the description. This basically goes in here. I didn't show you guys how this came apart, so I'll show you how it goes back together. Then this sits right over here. A couple of pegs that line it up, and then 3 screws to put it in place. But we'll get the gears on first and get it greased up. Also bought a thing of food safe grease. Also will link that below. The grease was breaking down in this one, so it was definitely time to replace the grease. Alright, so there should be those 2 washers. When you take this apart, don't forget about those. Slides in there. Greased everything up. I'll slide that together. And we just got to get that to the pin that holds it together lined up. You can see right in there. I'll show you where the pin goes in just a second. Okay, oh, I missed one of the washers. Fix that. lined up. Here's the pin I popped out earlier that holds this together. Get that in as best we can by my hand. And we'll do the rest of the way with a nail punch and a hammer here. Alright, perfect. I'm going to grease this up here, and then we'll put this in place. So, this is our accessory attachment. Hopefully you can see that okay, yep. This was just inside here. I'll show you a little closer, but I'm just going to get a little grease. Thin coat here. It'll just push off otherwise. And then that guy goes in here. And we'll coat this really good. This is where the upper part of this shaft goes, if you can see it. I'll go right into that. And then these gears will line up with the motor. So we're just going to throw a bunch of grease in there. There's a big pile in this corner, I believe. So we'll probably leave a pile there. We got a bunch of it around that. And we'll put a lot around the motor shaft and a bunch there and some up in there just to make sure we got it good and covered, and then we'll start putting it together. Okay, there we go. So basically, anywhere you found grease when you were cleaning it up, you want to re-grease. Anything that rubs against something else, you want to put grease on. Yeah, and then we need to use these screws to put it back together. So the two long ones should go to the back, if you remember earlier. Two without the shaft thing on them in the middle, and then the 5 other ones go around that. So we'll plop this together. Make sure that gets greased good. Opposite of that. So I did put some grease earlier on this. Open that slide up and down. It was a lot nicer now. We're going to put it back on top, mount it with the 4 enormous screws that came with it. Should have cleaned those up. That's okay. But yeah, and then we should be pretty much ready for a test. We can put, we got a couple of beauty bands to put back on first here. Should be an easy one. I should get my mouth shut. Alright, so one thing I found out is this is how the adjust the speed. Pushing that in and out, and these 2 screws adjust the low speed, this adjusts the high speed. Haven't messed with it yet. My understanding is you need about 1 spin per second for the slowest speed and about 15 in 5 seconds for the highest speed. And again, it can be adjusted here and down here. I believe there's a little nut you have to loosen off before you adjust it, and then you can lock it down. But anyway, I'm just going to go with what its default settings are. Last bit is you put this guy back on. It hooks on down there. 1 screw up top, and the beauty band, which we'll throw on right now. Easier to do this first. 2 screws, so you should have 3 screws left at this point. The 2 smaller ones do the beauty band. The slightly bit longer one does the deal on top. It's like I bent up the band a little bit. Okay. Looking. Hey. Take a little bit of our IPA. Grease that got spread around. Maybe clean it up a little bit later. Just for now, working off my greasy towel. And that. Not going to be beautiful. It's been used and abused. But at least it won't be greasy. It won't be leaking grease anymore, hopefully. All right, let's give it its first test. There we go. Just wasn't blowing it back far enough that it wouldn't shut off. Alright, there you go. Well, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. I gotta take it back apart. I forgot something. I forgot the gasket. So, with the grease came a new gasket. I'm not going to put you through me redoing it, but I will take it apart and get that in there. It's there for a reason. So we don't have grease leaking out all over the place. But, thanks for watching.